Ladies and gentlemen, it is Case the producer here, Brian and Kinsey in the mornings on Q101. This is a Case 4, a show in which I've coerced management into letting me talk to my favorite bands, and that very much fits the bill here, as I am joined by Christine from Pool Kids. How are you?
What's up? I'm good. How are you?
I'm hanging in there. This is, the day we're recording this interview, we had Militarie play live in this room, and that is now on Q101's YouTube if you haven't seen it. This feels like a cigarette break almost. This is very relaxing. This is very calming. This is very nice.
For sure.
Thank you so much for doing this.
Of course. Yeah. Happy to be here.
You've been on the road now for about a month, right?
I think that's accurate. Yeah.
How are you holding up? Mental health, physical health, everything. How overall are you doing?
Better than usual.
That's huge.
I'll say. Yeah. The vibe on this tour has been great. We click with these bands, both Spiritual Cramp and Militarie very, very well. It was right off the bat, day 2, we were like, oh, I can't curse.
Prefer you not
okay,
to.
All right,
but think of a fun substitute, if you will.
But we were like, heck yeah.
There you go.
We were like, this is awesome. We all get along. And that makes a big difference. So it's after a long day in the van, I'm feeling like crap. And but then we show up at the venue and everyone's just hanging out. So it's a good.
That's wonderful. Yeah. I'm so curious. I was thinking about the different ways I wanted to approach this. And the thing that jumped out to me was, yes, throughout the tour, you've got bands like Spaced and Roman Candle hopping on. But for the most part, it's a tour with bands that are predominantly men. And,
true.
and you are
used to that. I mean,
is it weird at all being one of the few women in the van, in the hotels, at the shows? What's that like? Because I would imagine it smells bad.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, is it weird? No, because that's the only way it's ever been.
That's fair.
Ever
That's
since
true.
that, you know what I mean? It's if anything, it's weird whenever there's more non-men.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's whoa, everyone's doing their makeup. This is sick, and that's only happened really once and that was on our headliner. I think, and I don't even think it was predominantly women and non-binary people. I think it was exactly an even split, which even that just felt crazy. But I mean, I feel I'm used to it. Nicola and I definitely I feel can vibe with it. We bro out and are farting in the van with everybody. We're definitely as gross as all the dudes in the van and stuff.
What
so
a badge of honor. That's incredible.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you can hang at this boys club. That must make you feel great.
It's kind of funny. Sometimes people will be I don't know. They're I don't know, just surprised that they're can you talk like this in front of the girls? And they're dog, they are
far worse.
Foul. Yeah, exactly. But
well,
funny.
You're on the Militarie Spiritual Cramp tour, Life Under the Gun. I feel my first thought when I think of Pool Kids is they play a lot of sick shows. They play with a lot of sick bands between Sunny Day Real Estate and La Dispute and the Mountain Goats and now this tour. Who do you feel if there's anybody has really taken you under your wing and been I'm going to make life easier for you. I'm going to hopefully make things a little bit better for you. Is there any band that's been like that for you?
Do you mean on tour?
Yeah.
Honestly, we've been really, really lucky. I think pretty much every band that's ever taken us on tour has been very, very kind and just been the type of band that's good to their support bands. I hear horror stories all the time from bands this band they treated us so poorly. They would screw us over in this way and that way. And we have no stories like that.
If Militarie acts up, let me know.
Oh, yeah.
I will set
they
them straight.
definitely do not. They've been great. The Wonder Years was the Wonder Years and Mom Jeans were the first bands to ever be who's this Pool Kids band? Let's take a risk. Because we had no touring history before that. So they really took a risk by taking us with no one vouching for us. And they were great. So they were definitely the first people to kind of take us under their wing. And then, I guess after that, people were oh, this is a touring band. And we started getting other offers. And everyone's just been really nice to us. The Mountain Goats were awesome. Militarie has been great. So welcoming. And there's such a different world of music, you know what I mean? So I didn't know how we were going to fit in on a bill like this where we're the only emo band. I think we're more than just an emo band, but I know that we're in that box though. But so I didn't know how I was gonna feel, but they've just been so supportive and welcoming, and we feel at home.
That's wonderful to
So,
hear. That's wonderful to
mhm.
hear. We were talking before the camera started recording. I said, hey, I'm going to have to ask you this question. You're probably sick of answering, but we're going to have to talk about it because within Q101, we were one of the first stations in the country to start playing Paramore when they first
Oh,
broke.
wow.
And Haley, we've always had a great relationship with Haley and the entire band. You have a bit of a Haley Williams story. For those that maybe
Oh,
don't
yeah.
know Pool Kids, can you take us through the timeline of your relationship
For
with
sure.
her?
And I don't mind talking about it because it is like the best thing that's happened in my life ever. So I don't mind rehashing this and reliving this.
You have the floor.
So it started, well, first of all, I guess it started when I was 10, and that's when my like infatuation with Paramore and Haley Williams began. And yeah, so I just huge fan, just establishing that. And then we had released our first record in 2018. And then on April Fool's Day following that, we released a like joke hardcore thing where Nicolette and I are like screaming.
That
like,
album is heavy as hell. I was just re-listening to it last night and I forgot just how aggressive it was.
I think it sounds stupid and like embarrassing, but we were like, this is fun, whatever. But people ended up actually liking it, which was like such a weird like thing to be listening to something and thinking it sounds so stupid and like was meant as a joke, and then people being like, yeah, it's like, it's cool. But anyway, so we released that on April Fool's Day, and on that April Fool's Day, I was at work and working like at a school. I was doing like a teacher type thing, and
A teacher type thing. That's
like I wasn't the teacher, but I was like the co-teacher. It was weird. It doesn't matter. But so I just like peeked at my phone, and I just saw like, you know, a ton of text messages, and I just remember noticing one in particular from Caden, our drummer, saying like everything was all caps, and he was just like, no one post about Haley, spelled with the Y. And it was like, no one say anything about Haley until Christine gets off work and like sees what's going on. And I was like, Haley with a Y? Like, are they talking about Haley Williams right now? Like, what? And so I'm just like waiting. I'm like stuck in this after school meeting, just like, what is going on? What is going on? Like trying not to get my hopes up that we were acknowledged by her, but also my phone is blowing up and I'm like, maybe it's possible. And I get off work and I see that she posted us on her story, and thank God it was not about the hardcore album, even though that's
all
what
caps Pool. It was about Pool Kids.
Yeah, it was about Pool Kids, the thing that like we actually care about and our hearts are in. But so she posted like a screenshot of the album and said like the most flattering thing she could have possibly ever said. It was like, this is what P-more, shorthand for Paramore, wished we sounded like in the early 2000s. And it said like, I pretty much have it memorized. It was like, I love like mathy parts with heavier moments or something like that. And yeah, it was just like out of body at that point. I was like, oh my God. Like I was trying to figure out how it happened, like how she saw it, but it kind of makes sense the more I've like seen how she really keeps up with like,
she's on top of things.
Yeah, she is. So I guess, I don't know, she just found us and listened to us, and it was nice enough to shout us out like that. And I DM'd her afterwards. I was like, this is my one chance to like tell her, how, you know, punish Haley Williams and tell her how much she means to me. And I did. And she like responded and was so nice to me and like sent me like a whole thing back. Like, oh, I don't know. She was just really freaking nice. And then she was like, if you ever play Nashville, like let me know. And I was like, oh, so the next like
we have to book Nashville stat.
Yeah. And so the next like 2 or 3 times we played Nashville, I took her up on it and I asked her, but every time she was doing some like crazy cool shit, like, sorry, I'm like at Bonnaroo like performing right now, and I'm like,
I'm headlining a major festival, sorry, I can't make
exactly.
it. Yeah.
Or like doing a feature on some crazy bands. Like it was always like something very like reasonable that I'm like, I'm like so stupid, I should have known you were doing that, I'm sorry, I'll just like go away. But yeah, then eventually I stopped asking because I was like, I don't want to like punish her. But then we were opening for Sunny Day Real Estate, which I should have known like she would love Sunny Day Real Estate and would be wanting to see them, but I didn't put it together. Like, we're playing Nashville, opening for Sunny Day Real Estate. I would have hit her up, but it just didn't cross my mind at that point. And then we find out we're in the venue, and one of the like venue workers came in and was like, hey, so we have like some special guests tonight. They're going to be up on the balcony, so just like no one go in this area or whatever, giving us a rundown. And we were like, oh, okay. And they were like, yeah, it's Paramore. And I thought they were joking. I was like, ha, And they were like, so yeah, just don't go in there. I was like, oh, you're serious? Like Paramore's coming tonight? And it was like right before we played. So I almost kind of wish I didn't know, because then I was like freaking out the whole set. But yeah, then we met her and she was like, I've been keeping up with you guys. And I like cried. There's like a hilarious picture of me like, like freaking out. And she hung out like the whole night.
That's fantastic.
It was crazy.
I'm so curious with emo bands and hardcore bands and punk bands, you know, when you guys, what you guys do to me makes sense, but there's an entire world out there that maybe they know the Foo Fighters and then they know nothing, and
Right.
there's bands in the middle there. But when you go home and you either see people from when you grew up, or it's Thanksgiving and Christmas and you're around family, do you have a flex that you turn to? Is it, hey, Haley Williams knows who I am? Or is it, you have a Wikipedia page now, which is pretty fantastic, and you have a go-to there?
Definitely say, like, if I have to try to impress somebody, the Haley Williams thing would be our biggest flex, like, for sure.
That's huge. That's huge.
But, like, and I would love to use that to impress my parents, but, like, they obviously, they don't know who Paramore is, so it doesn't, to them it means nothing. And I'm like, you have no idea. But, I did have my 10-year high school reunion this past Christmas.
How'd that go?
Great. It was sick. Everyone was like, Pool Kids! And they were all talking about the Haley Williams thing and everything. So.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'll let you go in just a second because you have to play a sold-out show in Chicago tonight. Real quick, you said on Instagram before this tour that this tour with Militarie Gun and Spiritual Cramp was probably going to be the only time you guys play this year because you're working on a new record. If you could put yourself in the shoes of where you were in 2022, the last time Pool Kids put out an album, and where you are now, sitting here today, what do you feel you want to accomplish that maybe you didn't do in 2022?
I would want to have more of like a plan ahead of time with our album release. Like when we release it, I want to already know that like we're going on this headline tour and then we're going to tour this place, and just, I don't know, more of a plan. We kind of just winged it after we released our last record.
It really worked out for you, though.
I mean, it did, but also we could have toured like so much more. Like now we're kind of at the end of the album cycle and we only did one headline tour. We could have done like an A market headline tour, then a B market headline tour. Not to get like all industry or whatever, but like we just could have done more like headline touring
For
if
sure.
we had planned ahead.
For
so
sure.
I would like to do more headline shows.
Well, I wish you luck with that. You are delightful. Good luck
Thank
with
you.
everything. Christine, a case for. Thank you guys so much.